FedEx full, we commanding the block. Burgundy and gold, got the city on lock. Hustling plays, ain't no need to pretend. DC reppin' strong and we fight to the end. Commanders moving, no breaks, no pause. Hands in the dirt, respecting the call. KDot in the mid, dissect the grind. District divided with a city in mind. Trying to dance why, don't miss a bit. And you gotta spread the words, or shit is shit. KDot.
Welcome, everyone, to District Divided, a DC sports podcast. More specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. I am Amit. That is KDot. This episode, we're back from our own mini bye as well, by the way. It's Dallas week. So we've got the preview and predictions for the matchup against the Dallas Cowboys. They come to us. They are 3-7 on the season. Cooper Rush is their quarterback, not Dak Prescott. We break that down for you. We have the All-22 review that we begin with, as always, against the Philadelphia Eagles. What happened, Jayden? Worst game as a pro, potentially? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about him. We'll talk about the O-line, the D-line, and then we'll do comment mailbag, as we always do after the pod. But before we begin this episode, if you could please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment, as you always do, and KDot.
We're here. I'd like to read from the Gibbs Bible. This is a prayer of vengeance against the star. The Lord coach is just and his wrath is mighty. He shall strike down upon the pompous star, the house of Jerry's arrogance, and its fans of hollow and stupid pride that cannot locate Dallas on a fucking map. For it is written, vengeance is mine, and victory is in burgundy and gold. Blessed are those who share this shit, for they are chosen. And cursed are the silent and the faithless, for they shall know the fury of the divided faithful and the wrath of KDot and Amit, my harbingers of the true word. Now go, thy children, and share this shit, and let blue and silver banners fall. Their voices silenced, and the district reigns supreme.
Ooh, share this shit. Greatly appreciate that, man. Gibbs Bible's on one today. And without further ado,
Dallas week.
It is Dallas week. I mean, and we owe them. And we owe them. I haven't forgotten the Thanksgiving game where I called you and we'll get to it. But anyway, we gotta begin. We gotta begin. And also thank God the game's happening here and not over there where someone could have died. With the metal falling down from the ceiling over there. We got to begin as always with the All-22 review featuring our very own KDot.
What's this right here? That's your penis. All right.
Sorry, wrong thing. Just got some Cowboys content in there. All right, apologies. Here's the intro. All-22.
It's the All-22 review on District Divided. Bitches!
All right, that's the intro. Thank you as always for that, KDot. And guys, as you know, KDot doesn't do this with just the one screen. He doesn't do it with the two screens. No, he doesn't even do it with 50 screens. He doesn't do it with 60 screens. He does it with 70 screens for the All-22 just to understand what the fuck happened, especially in losses. So KDot, over to you. The floor is yours. What did you see on tape?
Well, before I do that, I just got to let you guys know that it's funny you said the word 70. You said 70 screens, right? Which I know is always coming. 70 screens.
Yeah.
I've had some rough sessions in therapy the last 2 weeks. So I've watched 70 episodes of The West Wing for the first time over the course of last week. It's been amazing. It's been amazing.
Show. It's a good show.
I didn't want to watch the fucking Eagles game. I just wanted to watch The West Wing. It's making me feel good. It made me feel like the office of the presidency. It used to mean something. You remember those days? And then, no, I got to watch my Commanders just shit the fucking bed against that god-awful fucking Eagles. Man, fuck these goddamn... All right. Context. We have far exceeded anything that any of us thought we were going to do this season. Is that fair to say?
That is fair to say.
They have far outperformed their talent level from what it is we thought going into the season. Also correct, right?
Yes.
And also, we were not healthy in this game.
You're about to drop the hammer of Thor on this. Yeah, go ahead.
Right?
Yeah.
We also scored 27 points against New York and against Pittsburgh. So those things got to be taken into consideration. Philadelphia, they've got a beast, right? So you got to give him credit. There's no hammer. I'm just softening, just letting you guys know. Hey, contextualize all of it. Bad games happen to all of us, you know? We all have a bad game. I had bad pods, right? You've had
I've had bad pods, absolutely. Happens.
It happens. It happens to the best of us. All right, Jayden was bad. There's no getting around it. He was rough. I will say it wasn't as bad as it looked when I was watching the entire game. Well, the thing was that you watch it and you see that, like, it feels easily to diagnose. I know that, like, the big thing that everybody's talking about is the injury to the ribs, right? Like, is he healthy when it comes to the rib thing? How badly is the rib thing affecting what it is happening on the field? And I got to say, like, there were conversations. I've seen people post videos like, there's not the same zip on the ball that he usually has. So I guess I guess, like, look at his footwork, man. To me, it's more the footwork than anything, if I'm being completely honest. And it just looked like their pass rush got to him. Like, it's what it is. He was rushing things. And I mean, if we're being honest about it, like, when people talk about, like, pre and post rib injury, I just think we got to contextualize that shit too. Post the rib injury since Carolina, we've played Chicago, New York, Pittsburgh, and Philadelphia. As far as pass rush win rate, Chicago ranks 9th, New York ranks 12th, Pittsburgh ranks 5th, Philadelphia ranks 8th. That's a hard fucking slot. That's a hard schedule. And once again, providing context, we scored 27 points. And in most of those games, the Chicago game, which is right after the injury, and in this last game against Philadelphia. Like, come on. It's just, you got to understand it. Like, there are some things that just, he's a rookie quarterback. And if you got an offensive line that's as banged up as they were, it's going to be hard to do things. And when you look at the All-22, there's stuff with the offensive line, and you're like, yeah, man, it's just a rough fucking beat. Like, Brandon Coleman, I've talked about the last 2 All-22s. Brandon Coleman is better when they are able to provide help for him. When they have a running back or a tight end, be able to chip chip the defensive end before it gets over to Brandon Coleman, just buy him a little bit of time.
Or another tackle to give him a break and rotate.
Any of it. But because we were so down as far as attrition goes, they couldn't give him the help that he needed because they need to help everybody on the offensive line. So there were a lot of situations where Coleman kind of left out there. And yeah, he got beat like a fucking drum most of the goddamn time. But I'm not going to single him out. I mean, I could single him out. It did look particularly bad. But everybody had their issues as far as the offensive line goes, interiorly and the outside. They were giving up some pressure. And we just couldn't get things going as far as providing the help. You could see on some things that we were doing as far as in the 2-minute warning stuff near the end of the game, they were providing more help for Brandon Coleman on that blind side, which you could see gave Jayden a little bit more confidence. And that's when you saw him start completing stuff and the offense looked better. So right there, you can pinpoint it, right? Like, if the rib injury is doing anything, in my opinion, it might be affecting his ability to run. Yes. I think that's it.
No, I think you're spot on with that, because there were a couple moments in the Philadelphia game. This is outside of the All-22. You could just see it clear as day while the game was happening, where there's one where he could have, put a move on Zack Martin, but he did the move too early. Honestly, he sold it too early. And I don't know if that is him lacking confidence, because we've seen him hit that every single time this season. There he didn't. So maybe that's a situation where the ribs are affecting him. But like you said, KDot, played against really good defenses overall. And this was a short week. Dan Quinn mentioned the lack of practice time. I'm inclined to believe that. Then you've got Jayden himself saying he wears the carbon fiber pad to stay warm. You can decide how you feel about that one. And then, because then Cliff is asked about the offense and he goes, yeah, let's just say,
I'm not going to divulge what we did while he was, I would say, more banged up, but pause. Hopefully we play better this week. I'll just say that.
And for what it's worth, he did not say the word pause, unlike Drake May, who said when you got to feel the dude out, and then did say pause in his. So just to be clear, the pause was an actual
video again?
pause.
The Cowboys video?
Anyway, go ahead, Kate.
All right, so there's that. Now, if we're looking at criticisms as far as Jayden goes, look, defense was awesome. They were providing rush, short week, lots of injuries. Offensive line wasn't looking great. There was some pressure. You also see Dan Quinn talked about the lack of practice is really hurting him. JP Finley, I think, did a full breakdown as far as the practice stuff. And there was a point, as JP said, there was a point Jayden injured ribs on 10-20, wasn't listed as full practice until 11-1, then assumed 3 full practices before the Steelers games on 11-10. That basically means no practice before the Eagles game. So in a month since the rib injury, 4 full practices. That's it. Rookie
Matters.
That shit matters. So there was definitely rushing this. There was definitely rushing things. And because they did such a good job pressing Terry and really making sure that they were like, we're going to get rid of your biggest safety valve in Terry McLaurin, who we've seen, even when the numbers haven't looked great for us completely offensively as they had at the beginning of the season against these good defenses, Terry's been eating, right? So Philadelphia said more than anything, and you can watch any tape. You probably saw it even without the fucking All-22. They pressed the fuck out of Terry. They just were making sure he's not going to get open.
Question, was that just Quinyon Mitchell the whole time? Did they mix it up?
Everybody. It's double teams. It's dropping the safety down to make sure that Terry's eliminated from the conversation.
Because his only catch came on the right side when Cliff finally flipped him and was like, okay, you're normally on the left. Let's throw you on the right. Let's get a completion.
Like, I'm not going to take anything away from Quinyon. Y'all know how I feel about him.
He's good, man.
He's good. He's damn good. But it wasn't just him. Like, you have a safety trailing, or you'd even see sometimes they'd have a second corner that would trail like what was happening to Terry. They just made sure that they locked him down, or at least made things muddled enough where you could tell Jayden just wasn't comfortable throwing the football his way. And that goes to something else, which is, I think, the lack of practices, as well as something that Jayden's had to be. Jayden, look, the biggest criticism I have of Jayden that's been consistent all season long is some opportunities that he missed downfield, right? So we all seen some of the really egregious ones, like the Luke McCaffrey miss or something like that. Or not even miss. It's just he doesn't take advantage of it. He takes what the defense is giving him.
He missed that one. It's okay. I mean, considering what he's been doing so far, like that for him is a miss because of how good he's been.
Right. So, like, and this is where I'm going to fold Cliff Kingsbury into this just a little bit, just to kill 2 birds with one stone.
Mm-hmm.
There's some criticism as far as the Cliff Kingsbury offense in the sense of, like, all right, has it been found out? I will say, hearing Cliff in that press conference kind of downplay that like he'd never even heard of it, I didn't love that answer, just because the numbers are pretty fucking damning. I'm hoping maybe you address it. Maybe it's something you should address. Like, that's why I wanted people that had experience to learn from their mistakes. So I don't know, but there's also a lot of stuff with injuries that were happening around those times and stuff. So I don't know. I'm trying to give him space, but sure. I will say, in contextualize for this game, there are guys that are open. There are guys that are open that Jayden's not hitting. So, like, the offense is leaving some opportunities, and then you see in the game there were some drops, there were some miscues, things like that. But there were some guys that were clearly open. It's also Jayden still getting that comfortability as far as, like, what's NFL open compared to not open. I know everybody's seen the stats that are going on Twitter, like, nonstop as far as, like, who throws the ball in the tightest windows, and it's Jayden, clearly. Like, Jayden does that. He loves fucking doing it.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask you, can you read the win rates, the pass rush win rates for Pittsburgh and Philly again?
I have their ranking. I don't have the...
Or the rank is fine. Yeah, sorry.
It was Chicago 9th, New York 12th, Pittsburgh 5th, Philly 8th.
Okay, so Pittsburgh 5, Philly 8. Just want to quickly, because something that came to mind as I was listening to you, and obviously love Jayden. We all love Jayden. For him to have to go against the 5th ranked pass rush win rate team in the Pittsburgh Steelers, not really practice, and then have to play Philadelphia with a banged up offensive line. We talked about context. I just wanted to put in perspective, like, oh my God, right? Like, you have to do that. We saw Highsmith. We saw Watt in the backfield consistently. And then you see Jalen Carter, who Cliff Kingsbury also shouted out, wrecking everything. And you see Sweat in the backfield as well.
Sweat.
I mean, it's a lot to handle in that small amount of time.
Yeah, and add to that, so you talk about those defenses that are ranked, right? They get their, like, pass rush win rate. It just means you're winning as far as the pass rush goes. You're actually
hard to say fast. Yeah,
it's the worst fucking combination of words in all of sports.
Yeah.
It's just, I hate pass rush. I want to say pass rush.
Yeah. I was doing that too. Pass rush win rate. Yeah, it's tough.
The only team of that group that blitzes a lot is New York, if I'm not mistaken, because the
they
rest
blitz a lot. You would say
they blitz a lot. Pittsburgh gets there with the front 4. Philly gets there with the front 4. So if you can get there with your front 4, they're that talented. Not just against us, against everybody. It means you have guys sitting back in coverage that are making things a lot fucking harder because you don't have the mismatches that you would usually get if you got teams that are bringing pressure. They're just fucking great at doing this shit. So, like, I just want to make sure everybody knows that. I'm trying to provide the proper context, but yeah, if we're going to be super critical, because I'm watching the All-22,
Yeah.
Jayden's missing some opportunities.
Well, I think it was also more to the point that the last 2 games in particular, if he's running for his life in the Pittsburgh game, and then he turns right around and is running for his life again, I could see why he missed people. And you can have a week of sort of bad habits, if you will, where it's just like, oh man, I'm just running around trying to protect myself, trying to, maybe that head goes down, like the Tampa game, for example. People are open, but he's not really seeing them. Maybe.
I'll put it to you this way. You and anyone else that thought we were going to win that fucking game.
He said he was back. He said he was back.
Like, if you saw the injury report, you saw what happened against Pittsburgh, and you're like, y'all got to turn around and do that again in a few days. Eek against a team that's like, and they're just coming off the what? Like, no.
He said he was back.
It just wasn't looking good. All right, that's pretty much everything on offense. I guess the only other thing would be, like, while I do say that some of the wide receivers were getting open, you can clearly see that once Terry gets locked down, there's nobody that's like a game breaker happening as far as the offense. So wide receiver 2 is still definitely on the fucking shopping list. And just put it out there.
Sure.
And I'd really like to see Zach Ertz had a good game. Safety valve, did what he needed to do. I need to see more Benson in it. That's just something
I think you and a lot of the fans want to see more Benson in it. So yeah.
Just annoying. All right, defensively. They played good. They played damn good.
Yeah.
It's when it comes to what happened at the end of the game, this defense is not good enough to win games by themselves. Just not. We know the talent deficiencies. We know some of the injuries. Jonathan Allen, no matter what you fucking think about it, is not playing right now. This is a unit that needs complementary football in order to be in the fucking game. And if you can't provide them what it is they need as far as like a break with the amount of 3 and outs the offense was fucking having, you put the defense in this incredibly tough situation, especially the front, especially the defensive line, which is where majority of the criticism is going to come in this particular game. Secondary, bang up job, best job you guys have done probably all fucking season long, if I'm being completely honest.
For sure.
From talent to what it is. And Mikey Sainristil, I was kind of pushing back against this in weeks prior, but I actually do think at this point he's earned the outside spot, even if Marshon is able to play. I think Noah goes inside. I think that Mike's holding his own. He doesn't do everything perfectly, but he's holding his fucking own. And where he probably struggles more than any other thing is tackling. And if you're going to maybe put some more weight on you, do some drills, whatever, and then maybe next year we can put you in the slot if we find somebody else to play the second corner. But I think that the lessons he's going to learn being an outside corner in this defense will translate to anything that's only going to make him better. And if he's already holding his own outside, just leave him be. Leave him be. Let him do his thing.
Fair enough. So defense looked pretty good. Shout out Mike Sainristil once again. He lined up on AJ Brown. He lined up on Devontae Smith. And again, his coverage grade was 90, PFF grade 89. If you follow them, like he had a really good game.
Yep. Oh, one other thing.
Yes.
Talk about the pass rush.
Yeah. Yes.
Before the injury, there was only one team we played with a win rate, a pass rush win rate, better than 25th, I think. Cleveland.
And that was
what happened in the Cleveland game?
Yeah, early on, that was tough.
14-25, 238, picking a titty and a tutty. Titty.
Yeah.
When the pass rush gets to him, it's a little dicey.
And in contrast, because that was a game where I remember you and I talked, he managed to slow himself down mid-game. Eventually, right? Because early on, he was rushed. He was freaking out. He also had 11 carries for 82 yards to assist him out of that. Right? And so that is where maybe the rib is a thing, and that escapability isn't necessarily there. It might be after the mini bye. We'll see. But to your point, KDot, yeah, that's if you get clean pockets, sure, we expect you to do well. Now what happens when you don't? And maybe we're seeing that here.
And I think that's where we're at. We can't beat the good teams necessarily because the defense is necessarily good enough. We're not playing enough
presented there. Yeah.
It's just what it is. So like, once again, trajectory still good, still ahead of schedule because we're beating the bad teams. Congratulate ourselves. We're beating the bad teams. That was such a thing that we didn't do for so long that at least that's taken care of. So what do you got to do? Just get better. Just get better.
Yeah. And also, I mean, some of those tough games, like again, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Brian Robinson's not there. He's in this one, just not moving the ball. So, like, but the defense shows they're good enough to warrant complimentary football and can hold up long enough that they will give the offense a chance to win the game against a talented
We've been
team.
in all of them.
Been in all of them. Any final thoughts here, KDot, before we move on to the preview?
No, fuck Philly.
Fuck Philly. All right, let's go ahead and get to it.
It's the All-22 review on District Divided. Bitches!
All right, thank you once again, KDot, for the All-22 review. And we will, of course, talk more Jayden and the offense here in just a moment. We got the Dallas Cowboys coming to town, a wounded Dallas Cowboys team. They're 3-7, horrible at home, okay on the road, but Cooper Rush has only ever played at home. So we'll get to all that. And we got to begin, of course, with the context around the game, and that's going to be the injury report, as we always do. So looking at us, you can tell already from the mini bye, a lot of progress has been made. You also notice that the offensive linemen, they're good to go now. And Dan Quinn made note of that. So we've got a healthy offensive line. Looking here, Michael Davis not practicing, personal reasons. Cleveland Farrell did not practice. It's knee and also rest. So based on that, anticipate he goes. Marshon Lattimore, probably not going again this week. At this point, maybe makes sense to hold him out until the bye week, which is just in a couple weeks, the full bye. And then you got some guys that are limited. Dante Fowler popping up, limited with a hip, but no alarm bells there just yet. And so that more or less represents our side of things. A bunch of people full. Dallas Cowboys is a different story. So Marquise Bell may be out for the season is currently the report over there. They haven't made a decision on him, so they do have to list him in the meanwhile. So not practicing. He's not playing. Jake Ferguson sounds like a long shot to play, still in concussion protocol. CD Lamb goes from limited to did not practice. I haven't heard enough alarm bells to go he's not playing, but it's something to note, certainly. The two big ones, Zack Martin, Tyler Smith, both not practicing. This is a short week for the Dallas Cowboys. As of right now, if even one of them goes, I think it's a win for Dallas. But right now, neither on track to go. And then one name to look out for, two names in the secondary. Trayvon Diggs popped up with a limited, and Deron Bland, who would be making his season debut against us. He has been a full participant in practice in both of them so far. So that's the injury report for the Dallas Cowboys. Marshon Lattimore maybe comes back as well. I doubt that. But Deron Bland is a huge boost for the Dallas Cowboys defense if he is able to play, but it's also going to be his first game. Get out any thoughts before we move over to Jayden Daniels in this offense?
Just CD Lamb and Trayvon Diggs were in the club right after the loss. I know everybody's seen that video on Twitter. Times are bad in Dallas.
Times are very, very bad in Dallas. So why don't we go ahead and begin this preview on our side of the ball with Jayden Daniels, as always, and this Commanders offense against the Dallas Cowboys defense. KDot, I was looking up numbers for this matchup going, okay, how do we play against Dallas? Who can do well? Who maybe will struggle? I'll let you start because there's a lot we could talk about here. Go ahead. How would you attack this defense?
Do anything you want to do.
Winner, chicken. Seriously. Seriously.
Look, all right, to be completely honest, there were moments even last week when you see Dallas that CJ Stroud didn't look good against him at certain points in that game. Now, I remind you, CJ Stroud has gone through a large swath of the season without Nico Collins. He's lost Stephon Diggs. They're getting some things kind of figured out. So it hadn't looked great, but he was still able to throw pretty significantly on him. But I mean, I think you guys know where this is going.
Say it.
Run the ball!
Run the ball!
Run the ball. Look, once again, the keys. Overall rushing efficiency. 3rd to 32nd. Design runs. 4th to 32nd. Rushing outside of tackles. 2nd to 32nd. Rushing in the red zone. 4th to 32nd. Rushing under center. 10th to 32nd. Run the ball. Like, this is a statement game for this offense, guys. Like, this is not the defenses that I listed off, okay? This is you saw what Joe Mixon did to these motherfuckers. Like, this is run the ball down their throats. B-Rob, do whatever you want to, brother. Hey, Ekeler, you want to know this? You get your turn too. Rodriguez, anybody, if we got a big enough score, then you guys get a turn. But you run the fucking ball. You use play action to get Jayden more comfortable, get him more in rhythm, do those things. But this is truly, look, man, if we can't do, I'll put it here. If we can't do what it is we want to do, especially on the ground against them, there might be something to the Cliff Kingsbury thing. Like, I'm willing to say that, because this is not, look, man, they got talent. I'm not going to say Micah Parsons is not a talented dude. I'm not going to say that they don't have guys that are worth something. It's just hasn't come together this season. And you're at a particular point where they're as banged up as they fucking are. And we're coming off of 2 fucking losses in a row. This has got to be one of these, like, I don't give a fuck about X's and O's. This is just we got to change the mentality. If this is what it is that we're saying that we're going to be, then put your fucking foot on their throat and don't let up.
I want to also provide some more context about this Dallas Cowboys team. And actually, for those that have followed, we did an episode saying that this is something that could occur, right? That this implosion with the Dallas Cowboys could be on the board, and I think we're seeing it. They currently, what's the record? I think 20+ point losses at home. It's 6 in a row or something along those lines. That's at home. They're a different team on the road. They're a bit closer. I think they get away from all the craziness in Dallas. Could be good for them. So that's one positive for them. So you want to punch them in the mouth early and hope they quit. Because here's the thing about this Dallas Cowboys team. They will quit. And they have quit throughout the season. So seeing the 32s for a team as talented as they are, because they do have talent, that is not personnel as much or talent as much as it is they don't want to tackle. They don't want to do the little things for each other. Who is their former defensive coordinator? He's our head coach now, right? Like, that juice is gone. Mike Zimmer is a hard-ass defensive coordinator, and it clearly is not translating. You should be able to run the ball as much as you want. I don't want Jayden throwing more than 25 passes. He doesn't have to. In fact, if you really want to show it to the world, because you had the mini bye, offensive line's healthy and everything, this Dallas Cowboys team, not really good at containing quarterbacks that are able to run it all. You can run. Even Jayden can run. If you want to show that you're good, run. You'll be able to. This is, you control time of possession, you control the line of scrimmage, and you allow complementary football to be there for a defense that has shown you that against much better competition, it can hold up. This is, KDot, this may be the easiest game left on our schedule. I'm serious. Like, this team is quitting actively.
No, we got them again at home. If they're home, that might be easier.
Yeah, well, I guess that's a good point.
Yeah, man, this is like, if we don't, we'll go to the defensive side where things get a little more interesting. But from an offensive perspective, this is your get right game. This is your execution game. This is there are no excuses as far as the offensive line. I know they're talented. You guys are talented too. I don't need Micah Parsons being a disruptive force in the backfield. You shouldn't allow him to. There's enough that we can do that we've seen this team do over the course of this year. Dallas might be, in our minds, always a threat. They aren't now. This is not one of these, it's a rivalry game. They might keep it. Fuck all that noise. If we're the team that's beating bad teams, here you go. It's a bad team. It's a bad team. And like you said, they quit. They love to quit. I mentioned what it is that Parsons and Diggs were doing after that last loss, right? I think Parsons, if you listen to his podcast, that motherfucker checked out. If you listen to Jerry Jones, Mike McCarthy, the lamest duck of all coaches right now. Mike Zimmer, they got him up off the couch to come back and try to breathe some life into the fucking defense. It clearly isn't working. These guys are trying to ride it out to figure out who the fuck the next coach is and if Jerry's actually going to do anything, because that's the brand thing. Jerry showed these guys he didn't fucking give a shit in this offseason. Right. And if Jerry doesn't give a shit, it trickles all the way down. Oh yeah, we're all in for this year. What are you doing? We're just running it back. Okay. Yeah,
they missed out on free agency by waiting on Dak and waiting on CeeDee Lamb. because they needed the money for that. So it's poorly run. And it must also be noted that we have a number of former Cowboys coaches and players that will also know about Dallas, that will also know about the situation. I think it was Nikki Javala that said, it was Nikki or Ben Standing, one of them, one of the beat reporters, that basically was overhearing a conversation with Dorrance Armstrong and another defensive lineman. And Dorrance is going, it's not good. Like, they know the vibes in Dallas are not good. They know whatever's going on in that building is not good. This is a get right game. This is if you care. And Dan Quinn, props to you. You've done all the right things so far. Same with Joe Witt, etc. You know how much this game means. You can run up the score if you really want to. It's a great way to endear yourself to the fans. You're able to do it in this game. Seriously, man. It's crazy.
I don't think that'll be the case, because the other part that I would honestly say, and you can't really say this too often, I think there are legit Cowboys players that are rooting for us to kick their ass. Like, I think there are Cowboys players that are like, we miss you, Dan. Like, go ahead, do whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
I'm not going to call it, it's not collusion or anything. I think they care more about some of the guys that have left the building than they care anything about the guys that are still there.
If you've seen some of the film breakdowns of them on defense, you've got defenders looking for blockers to block them, so it looks like they're being blocked. Like, it's exceptionally bad stuff.
I so wish Mike Zimmer wasn't a part of this. Like, I've
You
got
Zimmer,
my ups
right?
and downs with Zimmer. I didn't like him in his first stint in Dallas because he was in fucking Dallas, but I've liked the hard-nosed defense that he usually brings, and it's a discipline. And see what I'm seeing right now, it's like, I don't want to think Zimmer lost it, but it's like something's going on. But once again, I just think the poison is all the way at the top and it's dripping down.
Yep.
And unlike Dan Snyder, when he had his poison here, he usually shut the fuck up. Jerry likes to go on the radio and let everybody know just how dysfunctional everything is.
Yep.
And it just doesn't help anything. And everybody's got their own fucking podcast or doing guest appearances on other podcasts, clearly letting everybody know nothing's good here. Nothing's good.
I mean, but here's the other thing. So now if we just look at, okay, so that's just one side of it. But then if we look at quarterbacks and how they've done against Dallas, they've all done well. I mean, Dallas is allowing, I want to say on average, close to a 110 passer rating, something along those lines. So you can do that as well. We talked a lot about running because I'm of the firm belief you can. We've talked about it with our Commanders defense. If an offense just ran the ball the whole game, not sure we could stop them. That could be true on this side of the ball for us against this Cowboys defense, but you can also throw on them. Like, it may not be Terry because they do a pretty decent job, I guess Trayvon Diggs does, against number one receivers, although Terry sunned him in the past multiple times. But you should be able to get anyone involved. Deep bomb available. That could be a De'Ami Brown. That could be a Luke McCaffrey. That could be anybody. Noah Brown. Anybody. Like,
this is the team that you run 10 runs in a row, and then on play action, they're going to bite like a son of a bitch, and then you throw it over the top. Like, that to me is like, I'm not overthinking it. It's like playing fucking Madden. Like,
I mean, honestly, I think we beat it like a dead horse. I mean, there's nothing more to say. You can do whatever you want on this side of the ball.
Yep.
All right, cool. Let's go ahead and flip the script. Let's talk about this Commanders defense against this Cowboys offense. What?
I think I chose the wrong color to put around the Cowboys flag.
You think about the font? I saw that too. Hey, so are they. So are they. Well done. Because Cooper Rush, when Cooper Rush is playing, I'm not going to make this a Cooper Rush point, but they are on their backup quarterback now. Dak Prescott, done for the year. He's on injured reserve. They let Tony Pollard walk in free agency. He didn't have a very good year last year, but he's doing a hell of a lot better than the running backs are doing right now for them. Rico Dowdle and Zeke Elliott, occasionally Deuce Vaughn. These guys cannot run the ball. Cooper Rush threw it 55 times last week against Houston. He got over his 300 yards, which is good, but this Cowboys offense is a shell of itself without Dak. And even with Dak, it wasn't doing that well this year. So KDot on this side of the ball, how would you approach it?
So once again, offensively, I think it's a really good idea to run the ball. It's only going to help your defense out. Now, the reason I say this and the reason I think it's important is I think our defense is better than anything they got going on offense. That still being said, they have CeeDee Lamb out there on the fucking outside, and they got some guys that could fucking burn you. Cavante, is that how you say Cavante Turbin?
Cavante Turbin, yeah.
And everybody saw that fucking that goddamn play against the Houston Texans.
Quick slant, he's gone.
Fucking gone. What, fastest recorded speed in the NFL this year?
Dude. Yeah.
Yeah, like, look, this is one of those games where, like, defense, be as fresh as you possibly can be and be as disciplined as you possibly can be. Because, like, we have struggled in some areas against the run. Enrico Dowdle is somebody who's a little shifty and he can make you pay. What you want to do is have the offense sustain or get you to a 2.22 touchdown lead or something. And at that point, make them extremely one-dimensional what it is they need to do with Cooper Rush. And then just play your fundamentals. Like, if this defense plays anything close to the game they played against Philadelphia, with an offense that's helping them out at least even a modicum better than they were doing in the Philadelphia game, you should be able to stop them from doing anything they possibly want to do. As a matter of fact, like, even the keys are showing you, while it's not 5 stars, it's 4 across the fucking board.
For our defense, right? Which people have mixed opinions on still, right? So, like, for us to have the advantages just sort of speaks to what's going on here. Cooper Rush, also a statue in that pocket. 2 rushes for 2 yards against Philly. I think, what was it? I have it right here. Sorry. Another 2 rushes for 2 yards. I was wondering, I was like, I thought that was for Houston. Yeah, it was for both. Okay. Like, the guy's not taking off on you. Okay. And they have struggled to run the ball. So in this game against Philly, they scored 6 points. Against Houston, they scored 10 points. You could sincerely double it and have them score 20 against us. And based on what we do in offense, we should still win comfortably. Okay. But they shouldn't even get to 20 against us. That's just the way that this is going to go. You focus on CeeDee Lamb. Curious to see what Joe Witt does because he's been around these guys. Same thing with Dan Quinn. You know, that reliance on CD. How do we handle that defensively? I'm curious to see. And then, you know, we played. I know Saquon's final stat line. We talked about it. 26 carries, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns. The 3 carries before that, if you were to take those final 3 away, 23 for 77. They had done a pretty good job against the run. Do you continue to do a good job against the run and force Cooper Rush to beat you? We're going to see. We're going to see. But this is another situation where we win this side. Go ahead.
Yeah. This is the game which we should be able to dictate to the rest of the league who the fuck it is we are. And what it is we're going to be about. You can't let these motherfuckers stay in this game. But I just tell you, like, so if you look at who Dallas played the last 2 weeks, Houston and Philadelphia.
Yeah, 2 good teams.
And if I'm looking at rush defenses, I'd take Philly and Houston over anything we got going on here. So if I'm looking at, like, all right, what's kind of more in line? So, like, they played Atlanta before then. 6.3 yards a carry from Rico. The Detroit game, 5 yards a carry. I'm just saying, if the offense isn't executing the way they need to execute, and the defense is starting to let up us on the run, I don't want this to be a close game. And the reason I don't want this to be a close game, like going into the second half, going into the third quarter, is they're gonna get a play. They're gonna get a play. They're gonna get an out of nowhere touchdown. They have so much speed, and CeeDee Lamb's a fucking dude, man. Like, he's a fucking dude. So you don't want to be in a situation where it's a 1 score fucking game, and then they go up in the 4th fucking quarter on some fluke bullshit. Let's get a fucking gap. Let's make them one-dimensional. Let's get a fucking gap going, guys.
Again, the whole game plan here is make them quit early, and I think you can, right? Because I think the offense, again, should be able to do what it wants to do. Yes, you're right, KDot, that Rico Dowdle, I mean, we're talking about Rico Dowdle, man. I mean, it's a fan podcast.
I like him.
I mean, he's fine. He's fine. 10 carries, 20.
They're clearly more talented than what they're getting out of.
But here's the other thing. We talked about it with the context. If Zack Martin and Tyler Smith are both out, I mean, that's also going to be part of it.
Yeah, you're right.
Right. So, like, that's important.
Well, I'm trying to shoot him bail. It's an NFL team, right? Like, I'm trying not to. But no, you're right. This game shouldn't be close.
Jake Ferguson also probably out. Like, let's just keep it a buck. Like, if we lose, this will be a very embarrassing episode. And you can go ahead and say the sky's falling. You can go ahead and say Cliff Kingsbury's being found out. And there's a lot of weight into the whole second half of the thing. And if you want to question Jayden's ribs, I guess you can. But, like, I don't care what what the state of his ribs are like in this game, because he shouldn't have to throw that much. Like, there's a reason the line. Do you want to just get to it? Like, unless you have more to say.
I'm gonna do this real quick. All right, the Jayden thing.
Yeah.
I think even Dan Quinn said, I want to start off by saying clearly, Jayden Daniels is not injured now. No injury. He's telling you everybody that like, hey, I put on the wrap because I get cold and I want to be warm. Is the cold weather going to be a thing? I don't want
No,
it to be a thing.
by the way, I thought it was a genius answer because I don't buy it. But here's the thing. It's only going to get colder, so he could wear it as long as he wants without it being questioned. I thought it was genius.
Okay. I'm just where's Jayden Daniels from originally? Cali.
Then he played some ball in Arizona
ASU,
State, Louisiana,
LSU. I did pull. I was on because I know I wasn't the only fan that thought about this. So like I went on. I was like doing a bunch of searching. I think I pulled up on Reddit. Somebody was saying that somebody did a bunch of research.
Coldest game.
Toss that out. Yeah. So there was like the most that they could figure out was like he played at Washington with a high of 52.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Like,
He's gonna have to get used to it.
I hope so, brother. Like, I just want you to, Jayden, gotta figure it out, man. Take some ice baths. You can figure this shit out. It's gonna get cold. It's gonna get cold around these parts, and I don't want a dome. God damn it, keep it cold.
No. Keep it cold. We will.
Saying, if they're making the stadium, Jayden's like, hey guys, I don't like this shit. You see my record in the cold, like you can't.
This is like a. Yeah,
like Aaron Rodgers
conversation. Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, exactly. Josh Allen against the Chiefs. I know they just won, but it's like, oh, maybe we need a dome for him.
Right.
Man.
I guess we can do it.
Yeah, let's go ahead. There's a reason the line is what it is. It's a 10.5 point line for our Commanders. We are favored, and the over/under is 44.5. So the implied total for Dallas is low. It's like 2 touchdowns basically. And then we're at what, 26 and they're at 15. So something along those lines, 27 and 17. Yeah, there it is. So KDot, over to you. I need a score. I need a winner. I need a player of the game.
I know it's just the PTSD, but I'm feeling a little trappy. I know. Okay. It's not gonna plan on my prediction.
Yeah.
I'm going 28, which everybody's gonna be like, whoa, 28? I think just like earlier in the season, but no, I think that they take. I think that Dallas waves the white flag pretty fucking early in this one, and we let our foot off the gas pedal. I think that there are guys on these teams that actually do like each other, and I don't think that they want to do that. If you got to win, you got to fucking win. So I'm going 28 Washington. Dallas, I'll say 10.
28-10.
Okay. 28-10. I like that. I'm hoping for something like if. I'd love a 50-something, like 7 or something like that. Like, embarrass these fuckers. I love that shit. I love it so much. I hate the Dallas Cowboy fans are already feeling apathy. Like, they're not going to feel the hurt as well as I want them to feel the hurt. That's why I like them in the playoffs.
They're protecting themselves.
Yeah, fuck them cocksucks. So, player of the game, Brian Robinson. Run it down their fucking throats. B-Rob, I want you with 100 yards before the fucking half. Like, let's go.
Yep, completely agree with you. My player of the game, also Brian Robinson. Got to share the guy. They also don't do well against running backs out of the backfield, like, in terms of targets and receptions. So maybe Austin Ekeler ends up doing some nice stuff. I think Robinson can do it also. Brian Robinson is my player of the game. Commanders 35, Dallas 17. Like, we should win this game. We should win it comfortably. This also includes that maybe Dallas gets a couple stops, but we should still be able to get to 35. Maybe Jerome Bland makes a play on his return. It's possible, right? But 35-17 Commanders, player of the game, Brian Robinson. Have yourself a day, bud.
I really like to see a score on that first drive. But 7-4 has become an extremely important record. It's not only all of our records, it's our team's record and my fantasy football team record. It's been pretty nice. So I need everybody to get to 8-4.
Let's all get to 8-4.
We 8-4. Everybody 8-4.
And you know what? I mean, we're talking about winning, and there are lots of bets that can be had this week. So we're going to move over to the bet of the week. KDot, what do you have for people?
All in on B-Rob. 80 yards, plus 130. Good fucking scratch. Once again, I think that there is a chance that we just get out to something, or maybe they're sharing the load, where I'm actually kind of thinking or hoping that they're going to be a situation where if you bet too much on this game, you might be disappointed because we pull our starters. Like, that's what I'm kind of hoping for. So, like, I'm going to keep it light. 80 yards, B-Rob. That's enough. Get the job done. Make some scratch. Get on them today.
I think it's a very good bet, assuming Dallas holds up their end of the bargain in that respect. Like they are able to keep up just enough that Brian Robinson needs to continue, because the thing is, when Dallas gives up around 15 carries to a back, they end up hitting like 80 plus, like you had mentioned, easily, even 14. Like it just happens. And Brian Robinson's hit 16 plus carries a few times this season. So I like the bet over there, KDot. And now we go over to the comment mailbag, but we got to begin, of course, with our very own Nikki.
Your penis is too small.
Excuse me?
It doesn't, and it can't, and I can't, and it's just too damn small.
Oops, I did it again. My bad.
Comment mailbag time, motherfuckers. District divided, ain't got time for no suckers. Spread the word, get in line. OGs and new G's, it's your time. And spread the gospel, cause this shit is divine. Yeah.
All right, thank you as always for that, Nikki. We begin with Earl Bruce. Shout out Earl Bruce. 7-4 with 6 to go. Cowboys twice, the Eagles again, Titans, Saints, and Falcons. Say they split 10-7, win 4, 11-6, unless they implode. I don't think they will implode, so they will have a winning record is the point there. My main concern since Carolina is Jayden. He has not been the same since his injury. This mini bye will help him and everyone else. Then they get a real bye, which will help. DCs now have enough film to figure out how to stop him. Another concern is Cliff Kingsbury's offenses get figured out in the second half of the season. Can he adapt? DQ is an experienced coach and will bounce back. KDot, your reaction to the comment.
What I love about it is that I understand your trepidation as far as some of these things. I do also know, contextualizing all of it, once again, we're ahead of schedule. And even if we split all these fucking games, we're still probably looking at a fucking playoff spot. So hip, hip, hooray. Do I pick us in any playoff games? Probably not. But, yeah, it's good. But I'll tell you right now, I told you I don't want to do that like this is a test, it's a litmus test or whatever. But I'd tell you, like, these next 2 weeks, we're going to find out a whole lot about this Cliff Kingsbury offense. We're going to find a whole hell of a lot about Jake.
Yep.
This team, a lot is going to be illuminated. What I think we're saying the thesis is right now is that this team is a team that's ascending, can beat the bad teams, keep up with some of the good teams, not quite there to beat them, but maybe we'll get one of those before the end of the season. I think that's where we think they are. What I don't, if the next 2 weeks don't go so well, we got to recontextualize the way we think about the team, because these are 2 games you need to fucking know.
No, that's certainly true. KDot, would you mind pulling up the graphic of Jayden before rib injury and after rib injury? Because here we go. Thank you very much. And so I just wanted to show you guys that some of the passing number kind of comparable. So like before the rib injury, it's 227 pass yards compared to 232. And KDot laid out that these are against much tougher defenses that have a pass rush win rate that is very, very good. Yeah, and that can help explain the passer rating of 89.6 versus the 106.3. But the touchdown to interception ratio is the same. The difference is the rushing. And again, that could end up just being because we're playing against better defenses, specifically Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. So that 27.5 compared to 60, I think that's got something to do with it. So maybe his ribs are hurt a little bit, but I think at this point, after the mini bye as well, I'd expect him to be good enough that we're fine.
I think that's what Cliff, I think, is kind of alluding to. Because once again, I'm telling you, if you look at all the film, because it's all there, the NFL has done a great job this season with that. Also, if you guys haven't, if you have Prime, like if you didn't watch the game on the local broadcast, you have Amazon Prime, do yourself a favor and do the Prime View watch of the game. It basically does the entire game in the All-22 look, and it'll show you the graphics and everything else. So, like if you haven't done it, you got Prime, I really suggest to go back and do it. It'll illuminate a whole lot for you. It's very much the All-22 is fairly easy to kind of do this week because I can do that. But it was it was the footwork. I'm telling you, it was the footwork. It was footwork more than it was anything as far as the torque. It was he's not planning. He's not planning his feet. He's throwing off his back foot. He's feeling the pressure. He's not setting the way he needs to set. Usually in games before the rib injury, I would see the only complaint I had was, hey, when you're rolling out of the pocket, can you set again before you throw?
Right.
It was the only thing. But now I'm seeing, oh, he's not setting anywhere properly. I'm like, okay. You're just feeling some pressure. You're feeling some pressure. And hey, look, I see what Coleman's doing out there. I get it. You're hearing footsteps. I understand.
Yeah. And Earl Bruce follows up with, and it's still topical. Do y'all think Mariota can beat Dallas so that JD can rest?
Well, once again, we're past that. He's good. Once again, if I could go back, no, that's an R. Kelly song. I ain't singing that. God damn, now I want to sing the song.
You broke KDot, Earl.
Turn back the hands of time, then I'll piss on you. No, I'm sorry. All right, so going back, I would have not had him play that Chicago game or the game at whatever the game was after Carolina. I would have benched him. I would have said, Mariota, got there. You're clearly not healthy. Let's ride it. And then when you're healthy, when you're good, come back. It didn't happen. We're here. He's played. He hasn't looked god awful. He just had his worst game, but he's a rookie quarterback. You let it ride now, man. You let it ride.
Yeah, I think so. This is purely a hypothetical, of course. Do I think Mariota can beat Dallas?
Oh, right. That was a question.
Yes, only because the plan should be to run all day. So, like, I think that's sort of it. And this team is comparable in some respects to Carolina in terms of what they're doing right now, not in terms of talent, not in terms of.
Why did you do that?
What did you say?
Why'd you compare us to Carolina?
Not us.
Under what circumstance? What?
Dallas.
Oh.
Not us. Yeah. Mariota played against Carolina, did well. And so against Dallas, he can do okay. And that's like his floor. Should be fine.
Yeah, Carolina got hard at least.
Yes, they do. We go over to K-Man 60, so known as younger brother Zab. Shout out, Chris. 100 out of 100 times we are going for it. This was the
fourth down.
The fourth down, right. 12 down 12-10. Are you taking the points? Or are you going for it? 100 times out of 100 we are going for it is in quotes, is a high school football mentality. These are not high school kickers. Absolutely take the points there. End of that 10-12 drive. KDot, your reaction.
What position did younger Zab play in high school?
He was a high school kicker.
And he went to Georgetown University. And what did he play for Georgetown?
He was a kicker.
Shut the fuck up.
Good kicker though.
I'm not denying it, but if we're talking about like you're biased, motherfucker, you want you guys to have a job. Once again, if it's up to me, your position wouldn't exist.
You think this is big kicker?
This is big kicker energy. This is something out here on the Pat McAfee show, okay? I don't hear this shit. You guys want to exist. I understand, but if it was up to guys like me and Dan Campbell, you'd be relegated to fucking sideline.
My rationale was the logic behind it. That is all. Jake Elliott was shaky. Big kicker wasn't supporting him. I'll tell you that.
Go ask Caveman what the fuck his name is. What he think? Give him another chance. That's why you got him, right? Give him another chance.
That's why you got him.
I don't hear that shit. I don't hear that shit. Look, I understand. Yeah. You have to contextualize. Look, I freely admit. Does going forward on 4th and 2 give you a better chance to win that game? No, it doesn't. I told you guys. No, I'm more about what it is you do to build a certain mentality of the team. And once again, that shit has gone and passed, right? It's done. Do you think this team is harboring any fucking... No, you heard it right after the game. We didn't execute. It's a mentality.
And to be fair, and to provide some balance as well, and I know we had 2nd and inches to 3rd and 1 to 4th and 2, but the team was 100% on 4th down through that point. So it just providing balance to the conversation there. But yeah, just needed to be said. You're going to love this one, KDot. Craig Hoffman goes, the answer is Drake May. So we're already at this point where we're wishing for a different QB. I do not think the answer is Drake May is my reply to that. KDot, your reaction.
Drake May looks good.
He does look good.
He looks good. New England's a little better than I think we all expected, and they probably should have went to Drake May a little earlier, I guess, if they really
I think it's fine when they went.
No, I think it's fine when they went too. I mean, the thing that nobody expected was Brissett just sucking. Like that just I don't think like he was the hot commodity, right? He was here and we're like, oh man, you need to give Jacoby more reps. Because we liked him in the short amount of time that we saw him, and it was like, oh shit, he's not coming out. He was ass in New England, just straight up ass.
Horrible.
And getting the shit kicked out of him. Like I felt bad for him. It's just like, how long does that contract actually state how long you have to be a crash test dummy?
So the Drake May thing is interesting because right now, I think according to various rankings, he does actually have the worst offensive line in football.
Yeah.
And so he is doing the stuff that people were expecting Caleb to do, right? Where like, you're running a little bit, you're elusive, and he's actually holding on to the very last minute. He's getting hit a lot, by the way, Drake May is. But he's ending up holding it just enough that he's able to make that improvised play for his team. I think that's why there's excitement around him. They're losing games. He's throwing game losing picks like two weeks in a row now. But he's done some of the improv stuff.
Right. You guys go back to the quarterbacks episode. We broke it all down. That's what Drake May is doing right now is what I thought was going to happen. The only thing I would say is that the bad decisions skewing to interceptions, I thought would be happening at a higher rate than they are right now. But as you said, 2 interceptions then fucking game, like added, and you're like rookie. I'm just saying, I thought it was going to be more catastrophic. But what he's doing as far as being able to move around and everything, what was the whole thing? He's a better Sam Howell. So like,
no, he's got. I mean, there were comps to Herbert, there were comps to Allen in terms of stuff like that. You look at the pedigree of the North Carolina program, and you go, okay, that can scare somebody.
Big guy, he can move. He's a big guy that can move around in that pocket. I'm telling you, if they get that offensive line figured out, and actually the receivers are kind of working out a little better than I expected them to. Is yeah, he's going to be something special in this league. They got a guy, but I've said this already. All the guys are good.
Excellent rookie class. Yeah,
they're all good. Only one's going to be offensive rookie of the year, and we got him.
We do have him. Although shout out Bo Nix, who doing his thing, man. He's doing his thing. Which is tough for me to say because I ranked him 6 out of 6 of the rookie quarterbacks.
Penix is clearly the worst.
Don't you dare. I have Penix number 2, by the way. Jayden Daniels 1, Penix 2.
I'm just saying, we saw JJ in preseason, and we were like, oh.
Did look nice.
Is that?
I'm just saying. We go to Blood Clot. Shout out. I know Jayden has obvious pain in his ribs that's affecting his performance. And this is a silly take, but how much of this is because Jayden was tired? The guy is up at the crack of dawn and at the facility at 5 a.m. He's probably in bed at 8 p.m. latest. He looks asleep on the bench. And with the short week, Jayden needs rest. It's an interesting take. KDot, what do you make of it?
I don't think it's that.
I don't think so either, but it is an interesting, like, okay, wait, hold on. Let me walk you through it. Short week. Right.
Before that Philadelphia team, the Philadelphia game needed more rest. But I think what's illuminating to me is that the VR is only an advantage if you have regular practice on top of it. So, like, you can't substitute. Like, that's what I'm learning. Is it's not a substitution for the real reps that you're getting in fucking practice. And I think that's what's becoming clear to me. That's what it is that Dan Quinn is saying, and I trust him not to lie. And Cliff Kingsbury's being a little cagey about all of it, but I understand because there's some people asking really dumb questions. Of course, he's not going to answer.
Keim asked the question, and I think him pausing, I think he knows that he was being a bit more concerned. I do believe that as well from Cliff.
Oh, I was talking the
second half of the season.
Yeah, that's the question. Yeah, I don't mind any question about Jade and everything was fair game. But
the second half of the season one, I was like, how is he supposed to answer that? Yeah, right. Exactly. We go over to Mr. Payne, 134. Shout out. Hopefully this mini buy of 10 days helps us get healthy. And again, looking at the injury report there, Mr. Payne, the team is a lot healthier now. Now we're still waiting on Marshon Lattimore. Austin Seibert, by the way, may play, may not play. He has said the plan is to play. We'll see what happens over there. But the team did get a lot healthier, KDot.
Yeah, and if Seibert can't go, I feel really good about Zane Gonzalez.
Zane Gonzalez
good at Seibert, but yeah.
Right.
But I'm hoping in this game, we don't need you for anything but extra points.
Seriously. We go over to Coach.
Because your position should be eliminated.
Shout out, Coach. All 22 questions. KDot, I will read each one. You know what? No, actually, no. I will read it one at a time, and you answer it, and then I'll read the next one, okay?
Okay.
Cool. First question. How much of an idiot is Cliff?
I don't think he's that much of an idiot. I was critical right after the game, and I thought that they should have ran the ball more in earlier downs. But what I'm seeing and what Philadelphia was doing, there wasn't really opportunities to. They didn't execute where they needed to put themselves in a situation where the running game could be more effective.
How hurt is Jayden?
I think Jayden probably still has some rib stuff, but I think it's affecting the running, not the passing.
Should Cliff duplicate the B-Rob Ekeler game plan?
I don't know. What does that mean?
I'm not fully sure either, but it's maybe them splitting. I don't know.
Yeah, I do like. I think what's ended up happening is they've liked what they've seen out of McNichols and they like what they've seen out of Rodriguez. So it's more of, hey, we're gonna run the ball with B-Rob and one of those other guys and use Ekeler as more of the, hey, he's gonna catch the ball out of the backfield, like more of the receiving thing, because you want to limit his touches. Of course, that's the reason he's here. I'd like to see out of 21 personnel more Ekeler carries, just pure carries. Like, I think the 21 personnel to me and what it does as far as defense and not showing what it is we have to prep for. And when you do, there's some shit. And I also will say the All-22 does show me something. This offense is still far from being unlocked.
Okay.
Like,
well,
look, I think that we're the lowest in the league in motion. We don't run motion. And that is usually something you're doing to get the quarterback more familiar with an offense and more familiar with the NFL. If they start doing that, Jesus Christ.
It also helps people not get jammed on the line, right? So there's another aspect to that, which
Luke is guilty of that.
Okay. Well, here's the next question. Was Terry locked up in Quinyanamo Bay?
Quinyon was the primary person, but they did a lot of stuff. And once again, they could do a lot of things as far as that because their front four could get there without any help.
Mm-hmm. Did your other receivers even try to get open?
Yes, and they did get open at times. And either Jayden missed or they didn't execute the way they needed to. But there were some open guys. It's not as open as you'd like to see, but you'd also know that Philadelphia is a pretty fucking good team. So you don't expect them to be as open.
Last question. How much was this game a Philly win versus a Washington loss?
Full Philly win.
Full Philly win. Hashtag share this.
Also,
shit.
Just realizing, Coach, you're a Philadelphia fan.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. I was like, could you not tell with Quinyanamo Bay and the other receivers even trying to get open? It was slowly getting more and more cutting. But
I can't wait
hey, Coach,
to kick y'all ass in the fucking playoffs. I'll just lose.
We go to Tankl 4632 shout out. All these excuses, y'all are not ready for primetime. Hashtag fly Eagles fly. Look, you guys won. Congrats again on the win. Like KDot said, it was a Philly win. We'll see you guys in a month.
What was the username?
Tankl 4632.
All right, well,
Tankl.
fuck you, ho. And then outside of that, I'd agree with you. I go over the course of the season as far as what teams we play with and not. I'm not necessarily say that we're not ready for primetime. Primetime, look, we're excited to fucking watch. They're going to be look at what next year's schedule is going to be like.
37 to Terry McLaurin on Monday Night Football.
I'm just saying we're kind of overwatching the Jets on primetime. I think we're probably going to be the next candidate. So I partially agree with you. You are clearly a better team. Baltimore, clearly a better team. Pittsburgh, clearly a better team. And we were in it. We were in it. And if you look at the roster turnover compared to what it is you guys are spending on your fucking rosters, we shouldn't be.
That's true. We're getting a lot. We're getting a lot out of our players so far. Shout out the coaching for that. Go to Big Papa Grizzly. Shout out. How could you guys ever think I don't need you? You're my favorite Commanders podcast. Share this shit. We thoroughly appreciate that, Big Papa.
Pennsylvania hate mode. I'm sorry about that.
Which there is a Jess Santo comment on that, but there's another from Big Papa Grizzly here. Shout out. This is more for the rest of us fans, looking at you, Mr. Payne, than it is for you two. Perspective, gentlemen. Let's put everything into perspective. What are we even doing here? We're 7-4. Most everybody had us winning 5 or 6 games this season. That's a dub. We have been running around the NFL watching Jayden Daniels snatch souls like the angel of death, all while Caleb Williams is out here looking like Colin Kaepernick's little cousin. That's a dub. We have seen this team go out and put it on bad teams just as often as we've seen them lose close games to good teams. With the ragtag bunch of misfit toys Adam Peters and DQ assembled in the offseason, that is still one of the more impressive things we've seen, in my opinion. That is also a dub. My point is this. We ain't supposed to be here. We are the 16-year-old that is finally getting to sit at the grown-ups table. Fuck yeah, we deserve to be here. But we just got here. We could fuck around and get sent back, or we can show everyone we deserve our fucking spot at the table. Just wait. Be patient. We are still on the come up. Hell of a comment there, Big Papa.
No fucking notes. Good job.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Got me fired up. I was like, woohoo, okay.
I'm just ready to sit at the fucking table, guys. That's what I'm ready for. I'm ready to sit at the fucking table. I do have what our, I'm not going to count these. I should have counted them out. But I notated what our preseason predictions were. I haven't been keeping up with them. But I'll do that before next episode.
Okay, sounds good. You're talking about around the league or Commander specifically?
Commander specifically. When we went and we did the full schedule.
Gotcha. Yeah. Go over to Jess Santo to conclude. Shout out. Don't talk shit on the Keystone State. We don't fuck around with KDot. My entire family is a bunch of Steelers fans. Unlike most, they are not obnoxious. I have a good feeling about the Eagles rematch. I think that game came down to what this team is really lacking. A true number 2 wide receiver, offensive line depth, and upgrades at tackle. Fowler is playing lights out, but you can always use more pass rushers. I was expecting more out of Farrell. I thought he was an underrated signing, but he has not been explosive. We need a monster A.J. Brown Megatron type across from Terry. The fan base is on the T. Higgins train, but I think this front office would rather draft one than pay a lot of money for an often injured wide receiver. People are down on Payne, but I think he's been doing the dirty work, eating up blocks for Luvu to shine. Sainristil is amazing. He was a wide receiver 2 years ago, and now he's been moved out of the nickel to cover elite NFL wide receivers, and he's killing it. You can't say enough good things about our defensive Terry clone. I'd like to see them play him at wide receiver once in a while. Whatever the hell is going on with McDaniels McRib is a complete mystery. He's fine. He's sore. He's cold. He's lying. He played a better game than Wilson in the Steelers game. People were glazing Wilson, but Wilson had a couple really bad throws in that game. Quinn said that Jayden has not been practicing a lot due to the soreness. That makes all the sense in the world. Daniels relies on his routine, practice, and relentless work ethic to maintain his confidence. If he isn't confident in his preparation with the addition of a banged-up O-line, coming off a physical game against the Steelers in a short week, you can see where the problems occurred. Jalen Carter is becoming a problem. As far as Dallas goes, break out the Senator. If they aren't going to use him as a tight end, fullback time. Let him light up Parsons in the run game. Hit them with a ton of I-form and split backs. Dallas will not be able to stop it. It was a bad 2 weeks, but we can't be nothing less than ecstatic about where this team is heading. Let's smash the cow bitches shitholes in. Revenge for the turkey game. Share this shit. KDot, your reaction to Jess Santos' comment as I drink some water.
Number one, love you, Jess. And I will say that, as far as Pennsylvania as a whole, I am a huge fan of everything Pittsburgh. I go to Pittsburgh as often as possible can. I'm a huge Primanti Brothers fan. What is it? I think it was Voodoo Donuts. There's a donut shop 2 blocks away from Primanti, the one downtown. I fucking love going there. I love Pittsburgh. I love the fans. I don't think the fans are annoying at all. I actually am very proud of the way you guys travel and terrible towels and all that shit. I will say the only thing that really bothered me was Russell Wilson bitch ass doing the fucking dance on national TV. That was not okay. And I'm sure you didn't think that was okay. It wasn't okay. God damn, that shit just hurt to see. But as far as the rest of Pennsylvania, fuck off. Fuck that state. Fuck the Keystone State. Fuck Philadelphia. Fuck the Amish. Fuck all you. All right? I'm sorry, man. I'm still being me. I'm so salty, man. I'm watching a lot of West Wing. So y'all supposed to deliver for us? You didn't. And once again, Jess, I don't want to know your political affiliations unless they are aligned with mine. Yeah, man. As far as the football related shit,
yeah, let's talk about that.
I would tell you that I'm not. I'd be lying if I didn't tell you that I think the cold is something I'm a little worried about when it comes to the ribs thing, or anything when it comes to Jayden. It's 60 degrees outside. You don't need that. Whatever. Okay. So I'm a little concerned as far as that goes. But if they're saying he's fully healthy, and if everybody's kind of pointing to hey, we're gonna unleash him again this game, Proof's in the pudding, man. Like these next 2 weeks are gonna look. It doesn't change the way I feel about the team overall, the direction the team is going, and I feel very, very strong about like the 5-year trajectory of this team. I feel better than I ever have as far as that goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as like where they are right now, how far ahead of the schedule we are right now, yeah, these next 2 weeks are gonna show us.
Yeah, no, it most certainly will. Jess, I've got some thoughts on the comment as well. I'll save that for after the pod. Just now, this was the show. This was District Divided, DC Sports Podcast, more specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. I am Amit. That is KDot. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the Dallas Cowboys preview and predictions, along with the All-22 review of the game against the Philadelphia Eagles. Thank you again for listening. And if you enjoyed it, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, buy the Gibbs Bible, and KDot.
Share this shit. You gotta share it. Share it.
Share this shit. I like that. Appreciate that. After the pod begins right now.
What's this right here? That's my penis. That's your penis. All right.
Every time. I mean, that's good. That's good. So, I mean, behind the curtain or fourth wall, everything. I didn't know that was coming. I did not know that was coming. So when KDot first played it, I was laughing through the whole All-22 review.
And shout out to the second clip, Sex in the City. Taught me a lot when I was a child.
Shout out Sex in the City then. Jayden's ribs. Him potentially being cold. Like this is in relation to just Santos' comment about like he's this. I do think it is possible that the cold bothers him. I also think that given the way he's handled himself, and this goes back to the quarterback rankings we did, and him handling himself like a professional, I think this is just another thing that he will end up learning about, working through, and then going, okay, I can handle this too. So like if he struggles this winter, let's say, I'm not worried about him struggling next season when it's cold. I would go, okay, I think he's learning from it. This is new. That's new. But I wouldn't read any more into it than going, okay, we learned something. It's like a Tua Tagovailoa thing where like the moment it's under 50 degrees, the guy like loses a ton of games. I don't see that.
All right, I'll place it this way. I'm not my concern level. It's not waiting to be proven wrong. I'm not waiting to see that, oh, he can play in the cold. It's me looking at everybody's data on how many times has he played in the cold, realizing he hasn't done it. I just want to see it. Like,
you're being a good data analyst, by the way. That's what you're doing.
I'm trying, but I guess it's hard to find the data. I guess I mean I didn't do it. I just looked on Reddit, but everybody else. I think there was one case and nobody could confirm it. I wish I could have confirmed it, but apparently there was a game in Missouri that might have been in the 40s.
He himself had said he played a game in, I want to say, the 20s at one point in one of the podcasts. I could try and find the clip.
If you can find the clip. But I know that somebody was saying that there was a Missouri game that might have been in the 40s and he threw for like 3 touchdowns and ran for another. So might not be a thing.
I think he's going to be just fine.
I've been listening to more podcasts talking to former athletes and hearing them talk about some of the guys that don't like the cold just is like, huh. So I guess
the most logical thing I saw was that, okay, so there's a difference between injured and like sore. Okay, so the injury I think is gone. And I think that there is maybe still some soreness, which would explain some of the rushing or lack thereof. Right? Where it's okay, still a little there. That's why you need the pad and you need to keep those muscles warm. So in that respect, I do think he is not lying in that, it's cold. Yeah, he needs to keep those muscles warm while they're sore. And then once they're not, I don't expect him to wear the pad. I think it's just helping him deal with the soreness still. That's where I'm at when I heard that.
No, it makes 100%. Like the everybody knows. I mean, if you don't know, you should know this now. If you have pain in a joint, muscle, tendon, whatever, and you're not going to go anywhere, you're just going to be laying on a fucking couch or laying in bed. It's when you use ice. You use ice to try to prevent pain, But if you're going to be around and you're going to move and do shit, you got to use heat. You got to use warmth. It keeps things limber. It keeps things going. It keeps the blood flowing, right? So, like, I get that. and that's the thing is like, and I did think about it for a second, was like, is the warmness just, hey, my ribs are a little tight?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Which is a possibility. It's definitely a possibility. Yeah, it makes all the sense in the world that like, hey, I got to keep this warm because my ribs they're tight. They don't feel good. They don't feel great. And everybody knows I got hit in fucking ribs. Of course, that doesn't fucking feel good. Or I didn't really get hit in the ribs. He just like I hope he's learning.
Got rolled and then it like something occurred. Yeah.
I will say this: the last few weeks, in the limited times he has run, he's been protecting himself better.
He has been protecting himself better, and I also wanted to sort of push back that he can't do all. Maybe he's not 100% himself, but he's still pretty good. Like, because even against Chicago, 8 carries, 52 yards, and he did juke somebody out of their fucking socks or in the very first drive. So, like, he could still do some of the stuff.
No, I'm not.
I think just the last couple of weeks have been very difficult.
No, there's a reason after the first drive you didn't see it much anymore for a bit. Like it's the
also true.
Like that's like it all tracks. It all makes sense. It's just yeah. Look, the bar. I break down all 22 every week, and I have to find things in order for. When I worked at Geico, every associate that I had when I became a supervisor, you had to have a coaching plan. You had to have a coaching plan for every single one of your associates, right? Mm-hmm. Now, sometimes you had an associate that was fucking getting the job done. They were hitting fucking bonus. All their metrics were there that they need to fucking be. You're doing everything you can. But my bosses would come to me saying, well, then what the fuck do we pay you for if this person doesn't need coaching? You need to find something to make them better at. And I'd be like, okay, fuck it, fine. So I'd have to find something. Maybe you're talking on the phone a little too long. I got to find something. I got to be critical about something that I can fix or help you fix, right? And that's kind of what it is with Jayden. The bar has been set so high. I think if you hear me do the All-22, which is like being critical of certain things, I wish people heard more of the praising that I had for him in the sense of what he's been able to accomplish over the course of this year. Or even when we talk about the ribs or anything, it's like, did you see the defensive rankings of some of these guys he's had? And have you also seen that we were still able to score 20-something points in all those fucking games? Like, that's why, before we did the All-22, I spent time prefacing everything. And you even thought the hammer was going to come, right? And it was like, oh, I'm like, dudes, this is why I'm saying everything I'm saying. Like, he's doing so good for a rookie.
We also, I think, if the Pittsburgh game, remember the Zack Ertz play, where at minimum it should have been respotted. Like whether he gets the fourth down conversion or not, based on where he's touched, whatever. If he does, let's say we win, and then this exact same thing happens against Philadelphia, I don't think this conversation's occurring. I don't think so. Because then if you beat Pittsburgh as well, and then you put up 30 points, because that would require a field goal minimum, right? And then you go to Philly and you just look out of sorts. I think then you go, okay, he went against a good defense, and he's a rookie. It was on the road, quick turnaround. I think that's the narrative instead of are his ribs okay? Because I think he also did damn near enough to win the Pittsburgh game, depending on where Zack Ertz truly was.
I think that regardless of the outcome in Pittsburgh, it wouldn't have changed what we did as far as the All-22 conversations, period.
I think the All-22 conversations stay the same.
I think that would have been the same.
Narrative, though.
I think that, but this is what we talk about as far as the narratives go, right? We talked about this weeks ago. There's going to be a national spotlight on us because of the success, and there's going to be a bunch of people that are not really watching these fucking games, right? Mm-hmm. And what the Eagles game, I don't think everybody fucking watched. Well, no, maybe everybody watched the Eagles.
A lot of people watched that one,
but not the Pittsburgh game. I don't think a lot of people watched even the Pittsburgh game. But like, there's going to be a general, hey, what happened to those guys? They lost? Oh, I guess they're not doing X or Y. Good. And all right, well, we need to make sense of that argument. So what are we going to do? We're going to rely on the numbers. We're not going to watch any of this shit. We're just going to rely on the numbers. So other than like a few people in national media that you can really, really appreciate, shout out to Mina Kimes, who you hate so much. There are people that do a good job as far as it, but you can't be perfect. So like the narrative here around the people that know the team is not anywhere close to the sky's falling over shit, right? The John Kimes aren't saying that. Your JP Finleys aren't fucking saying that. Even the fucking junkies, as fucking negative as they can be, aren't really necessarily saying that. They did have one video, it was like, kind of, is Cliff getting figured out? And they were a little more negative than need be. Because once again, most of those guys are not even Commanders fans. Fuck them. I mean, I love them. They're kind of my heroes, but fuck them. There is this element of like, nobody wants to lose 2 games in a fucking row.
Yeah, and it has been a while. This is the first 2-game losing streak of the season.
But
We extended 11.
I have to keep saying, what the fuck is wrong with all of you that thought the Eagles game was winnable? I didn't understand.
I thought I explained myself very clearly.
I know. I get it. But no. It's like, that's why, like, everybody after the Eagles game, even when I was around the guys, and everybody's like, oh, man, we lost against the Eagles. I'm like, did you expect us to win that game? Did you see the injury report? Did you see what happened in Pittsburgh in the short turnaround? Have you watched Philadelphia play? What the fuck makes you think we're going to win this game? And if we do, you snuck away with one. That's how it works, okay?
That was the plan. 38-35, walk-off TD. Let's get out of here.
Motherfucker, if the Buffalo Bills done what happened as far as Pittsburgh going against Philadelphia, guess what I'm not doing? I'm not putting any fucking money on them. They're going to lose that game. It's the way it works in the NFL. That's why the Thursday night game fucking sucking and they get rid of them anyway. Regardless, they're never going to. Wait for football every fucking day. Which I think this year there's football every other day except like one day this week.
It's crazy.
One day of the week. I think it's like Tuesday. There's no games on Tuesday.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Fuck is So after this Eagle, I'm not down at all. I'm kind of like
no, I'm not down either, just to be clear.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can tell that. I'm not down.
Well, that's what I'm saying. As far as like the narrative, anytime we're talking about the narrative in this team, and especially on this fucking podcast, unless it's like, no, because you're not going to hear anything about the national narrative from me. What you're going to hear is maybe you shitting on Mina Kimes and I have to defend her.
Okay.
But beyond those
Once
things,
again, no, I'm doing it again. Mina put Dan Quinn and Kevin Clark. Okay. You don't ever mention Kevin Clark's name too. They both put Dan Quinn on the hot seat before a game was played when Josh Harris, now our owner, has been known for being patient more than anything else. And I just took offense to it because of our history and the scars behind it and how we're always the punching bag. I was tired of being the punching bag. I was triggered by the take.
Look, man,
that's where I'm at.
You won. All right. You won. Your body, my choice is a thing now.
Oh my God.
All right. So but national, I don't give a fuck with, like, you watch LaShawn McCoy. I don't give a fuck about anybody on that show. I don't give a fuck about what Stephen A. Smith's got to say about our fucking Commanders. I don't give a fuck what anybody on ESPN really has to say about our Commanders other than a few people.
Oh, no, it's incredibly... Yeah, no. Listen,
trust Benjamin Solak.
She's one of the more analytical... No, I like Mina.
I know, but she doesn't explain why you hate her so much. I just don't get it.
I didn't like the take. I didn't like the take.
She's a wonderful human being.
She is. She's a wonderful human being.
I'm sure a great mother. There's no need to disrespect her and the level at which you do. She does a good job. So what I would caution you is to not follow the narratives of your LaShawn McCoys that you love. It's to follow Mina.
I told you I like a segment called Crazy
You got to do those things, not the other thing, man. You're doing it wrong.
There is a new episode of Crazy Work that I missed. It's a great segment.
It's poison. It's poison for your brain. All right, it's poison. Look, man. So I tell you, after we do this episode, like Thursday night, after we do this episode, I turn on Thursday Night Football, and because it's Thursday Night Football, it's a toss-up whether or not the game's going to be good or fucking bad, right?
Yeah.
If the game is bad, I'm usually right there on this couch over there I'm looking at, right? I turn this fan on, probably got a cigarette in my fucking mouth, and if the game is shit, I then go through my Rolodex of shit on YouTube that I've got to watch because I don't like watching anybody else's shit before I do an All-22 episode. So as soon as I'm done, I'm watching Craig Hoffman and Logan Paulson. I'm watching anything that John Keim has out in the last 2 days. I'm watching all that shit just to get an idea of the people that actually know what the fuck is going on with this team. Anybody else is a waste of fucking time.
I agree. I'm agreeing with you there. That's a good process, by the way. It's a really good process. How many screens do you dedicate when watching other All-22 reviews?
Just one. Just my phone.
Just full focus on them. No, it makes
well,
sense.
like I use my phone, but if anyone knows me, my speaker on my phone's been broken for like 2 years now. I just haven't gone out. I pay for a warranty. I paid $9 a month for a warranty. I still haven't gone to the Apple store.
Just go to the Apple store, dude.
I walk around with a Bluetooth speaker. So it's literally, and because I got a magnet, I can just throw it on this bitch like this. Like this is, I just walk around my house like this. Like,
I'm simultaneously mad at you, and also I do the same shit. So like, that's another layer of anger, but that's at both of us.
So I can throw it on if I'm listening to Craig and Logan.
And Logan, yeah.
They don't really do any visuals, so I could just, as I'm doing around or watching the game, I just have the audio going and I can listen, right?
Got it.
But like Benjamin Solak, he doesn't do the videos for the Ringer anymore, so there's not I can fucking do there. And then every once in a while, I might go on to like your Brett Coleman, who I think was on Mina's show actually this week. I need to watch that.
I like
and
both of them.
Okay, and then yeah, that's pretty much it. Sometimes the what is it, the quarterback school or whatever it is that
JT O'Sullivan. Kurt Benkert
sometimes
also does one.
So like, but beyond that, like, yeah, that's sort of what it is. This is why we do what we do, right? Is like, if you're a Commanders fan, no matter where the fuck you are on this planet, come to places like here where we know what we're talking about when it comes to this fucking team. Because ESPN is doing you no fucking favors.
Oh, it's sensationalist, man. It's crazy.
It's just bad. Like
it's really bad. Like, yeah, because I would put, like on the way to work, I would like, be making some breakfast or something like that, then go into the office. I'd have Get Up on the background. And it, during football season, is so bad. It is so sensationalist. Like, it's just based off who won the last game. Josh Allen, he's now the best quarterback in the NFL. And it's like, buddy, you really think so? The moment this becomes a playoff game with Mahomes? Like, this happened last year. No, but this is exactly what happened last year. And the year before. Like, the moment they could even slither a take.
It's entertainment.
No, I know. It's what the E fucking stands for. It's just... Gosh.
It's look, man, the same criticism I have for news networks and journalism and Washington Post and all the rest of these, what used to be great sources of great information, and you had the best and the brightest, and sometimes they weren't good on TV because they didn't know how to be good on TV, but you got the best out of them. Around the Horn, you know what I loved about Around the Horn that never really got, those are all print journalists on Around the Horn.
No, that's true.
And they don't take
it's being canceled. You saw that?
I did not. Once again, I don't watch ESPN. So like
I'm just letting you know, I don't watch it
that
either.
Fucking sucks.
But it's
that does fucking suck. But what they would do is like, hey, Boston Globe reporter, Dallas Mercury reporter, Denver Post reporter, LA Gazette reporter, Washington Post reporter. Let's put everybody from around the country. So when we're talking about a particular topic, you know what Tony Reali or Max Kellerman before him would do? Hey, Woody, you're in Denver. We'll go to you.
Love the board. Everything Woody wrote on the board was awesome.
Tim Kalishaw, we're in Texas. We're going to go to you about what's going on. Jackie McMullen, we're talking about Boston. We heard everybody else say what's really going on.
That was a good show.
That's the shit. When you saw Tony and Mike on Around the Horn, you had two great print journalists. And you know what I loved about them? There come a topic every once in a while. I don't know what the fuck this is about. Like, I don't know. I don't have a take on this. Like, I just don't.
I met Tony Reali, by the way. Shout out Kalaine, who's one of my friends from soccer, and so she had a connection.
He lived in Adams Morgan.
What's that?
He lived in Adams Morgan.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. Yeah, he would sometimes run around the Cardozo track. So you'd see him. Awesome dude. Genuinely awesome dude. Really sweet, authentic. Like you could also feel that. He's great. And so he ran shout out Tony Reali and Around the Horn. It went for a while.
I got to get on the set for Around the Horn and on the set of PTI through Atlantic Video, because they shot everything in DC.
Yeah, in DuPont. Yep.
And then even younger than that, I got to be in the audience for Crossfire when I was really young.
Ooh, that would have been fun. You would have enjoyed that.
I loved Crossfire until Jon Stewart ruined it.
Okay. Oh man.
He looked at Tucker Carlson. You wear a bow tie. They're not supposed to take you. It's like, yeah, this is all just partisan hackery.
Right.
It's just bad for everybody. God damn it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's almost like that. But like, it's just I know we got to wrap up. I'm going to shout out one person as far as from a journalistic standpoint.
Go for it.
I saw you like this on my Instagram story. I did see this. So yesterday, we're talking about good journalists, be it sports or anywhere else. There's one journalist in particular, Hind Hassan, who I've been following for years. I've gotten to talk to her a few times over the course of the last 4 years, which is always just a fucking honor anytime that I'm ever able to communicate with her at all, because I just think this is somebody who puts her life on the line to get the best story and to get the truth out for people and decision makers to make the proper decisions, which is few and far between nowadays, honestly. But if you can find, and it takes some work, but if you can find, you got to search out and find the people that you can trust to deliver the information and know that they're doing the research and can provide the proper context of things. It has become such a rare art now at this particular point. Some of the best journalists that I've ever seen, your Anderson Coopers, where if you're under the age of 30, you just basically know Anderson Cooper is the talking head on CNN and occasionally goes to stand in front of a storm. But you don't realize how he used to go into all these areas as basically a war fucking journalist. And they get these stories back to us. And they turn all of them to just entertainment heads. And it's so fucking frustrating at times. I don't blame them all the time for it. You got to make a buck here. I get it. You got to make some money. I understand. But there are so many really good, well-educated, like really put everything into it. And we have to champion those things, especially in a time where misinformation and disinformation is so rampant. And when everybody's number one news source is fucking Twitter, you got to look. You got to find them. And when you do, you don't fucking let those guys go. And you make sure everybody else around you knows this is a person you can trust for the information. They don't need to editorialize fucking everything. Just give me the news.
Perfectly said. If you had a mic in your hand, it's a bit of a mic drop. So we appreciate that. And he's right. Find what you trust. X ain't it. It's not. It can't be the news source, man. It really can't. So we'll see you guys after the Cowboys game with our recap, hopefully with some shades on. So until then, take it easy.
Bye, everybody.
Your penis is too small.
Excuse me?
It doesn't, and it just,
In DC, we're just hoping that you listen.